All right. So I came up with a couple new ideas for Quest for Imagination Me, and I just wanted to get them out real quick. Um, the problem I've been having is really there's three types of games here. One is literally you can make a game where you're a kid running around the neighborhood playing kid games like tag. You could have a group of 12 kids and you go up and just play tag. But essentially, I'm sitting on the couch playing a video game of a kid playing games. So I think that would get a little boring after a while. You want something to spice it up. That's why I came up with the idea of the imagination. So running up to a group of kids building a boxcar, instead of just racing that boxcar, he imagines the old Deuce Coupe racing game. So that's a game where instead of like a choose your own adventure, we are making the imagination for you. Every choice, everything you come to, it turns into um, something artistic that we have already pre planned out. I like that idea, but I think it also needs a little something. So I thought, well, say you take the baseball team. The main goal was to make the baseball team against the older kids. You need 9 members of a baseball team. So what if there's 9 major quests, like a Zelda game, a dungeon, right? Those major quests will have the choose your own adventure where you get to pick A, B, and C, and maybe you are 1, 2, and 3. So I pick barbarians and I'm a pirate, or I'm a ninja and you're werewolves, whatever, those are going to be harder to figure out. And to get to them, you'll need items. How you gather items and gear is by doing side quests, side missions. Those side missions and quests will be the smaller ones where we imagine them for you. The boxcar, the jungle gym, stuff like that. So I came up with 2 new ones real quick. The first one is a choose your own adventure where you kind of come through the woods and it's maybe a field. Beautiful, tall grass, flowers, atmospheric dust in the air, and there's 3 kids running around with butterfly nets. And they're catching bugs. You run up, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're bug catching. There's all different stuff out here. Can I join you? How do you play? Well, you need a jar to put the bugs in. You need a net and a stick and this and that. So, right there and there, you need a couple of items to proceed with this quest. Maybe you don't get the jar until you beat 2 other, beat a quest, trade that item to another quest to get the jar. Stuff like that. Maybe this is the 3rd dungeon, so you need 3 items, whatever. So I thought at first you could start off, you basically overhead running around, and as you're running, you're looking down, and like the field's real pretty, and bugs will fly up, and you gotta swipe at them. And I was like, that seems like a pretty cool game to me right then and there, just catching these bugs. But after maybe you catch 3 or 4, and it'll show you what kind of cool looking bug it is. You'll go, this is really fun, but we should imagine that these things are, and maybe the other first kids will pop up and go, we should imagine they're dinosaurs. And then the second kid is like, we should imagine they're aliens. And the third kid says, I like bugs, but why don't we imagine them as monster bugs? So you're like, that's perfect. And you move the camera and get to pick dinosaurs. So you pick dinosaurs, and the imagination starts, and it turns into prehistoric field, big leaves, and like an area of kind of wilderness jungle. And maybe there's a couple of dinosaurs, like small ones and then big ones. And stay away from like T-Rex and all that, but you could have a Brachiosaurus, and the major goal is to catch him. So I thought, well, how are you going to catch a dinosaur? And I was like, well, maybe if it's like a puzzle, like this is where you can have a puzzle. Maybe on the floor, on the ground, there's a fruit bearing bush, like an apple bush. That makes no sense. But you have to like cut down the apple bush, and then you have to maybe toss it into a tree or climb a tree and place it, and then you have to climb another tree and wait for him to walk over, because now he'll walk over and be able to grab that tree. And as you see that, you jump out of the tree and like loop a collar around him. And at the end, you're like, oh, I got a dinosaur on a leash. I've caught him. So it can be kind of funny, but as you're looping it around him, it phases into you're coming down with the butterfly net, and you're like, wow, that was great. I caught a grasshopper, but really I was imagining catching a dinosaur. And it could be like that, kind of a puzzle. And you know, a dinosaur, an alien, a monster bug, they all can be the kind of the same. You could have a small, middle, and large size ones. Uh, but you know, really the basis of it is plotting out this puzzle, how to get him from point A to B, and how to have you in the right position to catch him. Maybe dig a hole or a trench or something like that. So that was a choose your own adventure one. Just a simple little bug catching contest. And maybe when you catch a jar of bugs that are glowing, that is something else you can use for another down the road. Like that is a light source that two science kids plug in wires and can run their makeshift whatever. Which brings me to my next one. I thought of a We Imagine For You quest, a smaller quest where down in the left corner of the map there's a gas station and maybe a grocery store and a pharmacy. And that's the only kind of city that I'm thinking of doing. But you go there and there's like some nerdy kids and they're like, our mom sent, and you're like, what are you guys doing hanging out here? And they're like, our mom sent us outside, but we really want to play this new thing called a video game. And you're like, what's a video game? And you're like, oh, it's this and that, pixelated fun time. So they have like a TV, maybe like a portable TV, and like an old school. You can kind of make it look like an old Nintendo. And they're like, we need you to plug this in, but that back alley looks really scary. So you kind of peek around the corner, and the back alley does look really scary. So as you enter it, your imagination turns into an old school video game, Mario style, where it's 2D, and then you are a pixelated version of you that you have to run across the screen, jump on a trash can, maybe a cat comes out of nowhere. You have to jump on a dumpster. There's an oil slick that if you hit, you'll slip off. You know, it's just an old school one level run and jump, and then you get to the end and there's a power cord and you like plug it in, and then boom, you come around the other side and you're like, I plugged it in. You get to watch them play a video game, and then maybe they'll give you like, they'll give you something. But those are two little quests that is freaking 8 minutes long to explain. So, but at least now they're on video. Thanks.